Hey guys, Nick here. This is going to be my review of DuckTales The First Adventure. The episode begins with Agent 22, aka Beakley, sending Black Heron to Shush headquarters because she tried blowing up Mount Everest. We then see a young Bradford telling Ludwig von Drake about their corporation's major spending escapades due to them reacting to the destruction villains have caused. So, instead of waiting for the next villain to take over the world, he proposes that they should take over the world, which in his terms means ruling with an iron fist within the shadows. However, Ludwig disagrees with that idea, so Bradford proposes his idea to Black Heron as he visits her in her prison cell. She agrees, and Fowl is born. They then escape Shush headquarters. A time skip happens, and Duckworth explains Scrooge's daily routine. Scrooge meets a young Donald and Della. He reads a letter from his sister Hortense, which is very similar. Actually, I believe it's identical to when Donald originally met Huey, Dewey, and Louie from the original comic, which I thought was very, very clever and a nice reference. So major props to Matt and Frank on their part for that. Scrooge then gets a call from Beakley regarding an artifact that Scrooge has been looking for. However, Beakley believes that there's been a mole in Shush sent by Fowl. Beakley tells Scrooge that the artifact that he's been looking for, which is known as the papyrus, is located in the Bermuda trapezoid, which is a reference to the Bermuda Triangle. The papyrus is said to make anything happen when you write it in the scroll. Donald and Della overhear the conversation, and at first he's reluctant to bring them in. There's a funny montage between the three of them, but he eventually caves and they take a plane ride to the Bermuda trapezoid. Heron and Bradford are discovered. They escape, but we then get to see the origins of Della's piloting skills, which is awesome. Heron makes a perfect landing, and Bradford makes a failed landing, which I always like in cartoons where one of the characters makes a perfect landing and the other character doesn't. It makes for good comedy. So Della manages to land the plane safely, and the race is on to Yellowbeak's treasure room. Along the way, there's traps. Donald gets trapped by rope, and Scrooge uses the pogo move again from the classic NES game. That's twice in Season 3 that move has made a reference, so that's really, really cool. Major props to Matt and Frank on their part for that as well, because I loved using the pogo move in the classic NES game. They make it to Yellowbeak's treasure room, and as Stella is reading the scroll, Heron tries to get the jump on them. Heron writes that Scrooge's sidekicks should perish. However, it doesn't work because Scrooge's companions aren't his sidekicks. They are his family. Donald and Della are his family. And he realizes that it's an adventure. So all three of them team up on Heron. Bradford eventually shows up, and while Donald and Della are facing off against Heron, Scrooge faces off against Bradford. As Scrooge is about to get the scroll, Bradford makes an escape, saying that Scrooge will not remember him being there. There's an intense moment where Donald believes that Della has fallen to her death, which causes Donald to have his inner rage come out, which is a nice callback to when Donald fought Lunaris and explaining his inner anger in this iteration of DuckTales. So Scrooge manages to get the scroll, and he writes that only the scroll can be found by his heirs, which I thought was really interesting. So it could be foreshadowing that Huey, Dewey, and Louie might be the ones to find the scroll next. It's hard to say, but I really think that that's what's going to happen. Like, something big is going to happen in the season 3 finale, and that scroll is the key to their victory, I believe. And Huey, Dewey, and Louie are going to be the ones to find it. I have a feeling that that's what's going to happen. So Heron tries getting the scroll. She ends up failing and falls to her death, but not really, because we know she's still alive. Bradford then goes to the McDuck mansion. However, Scrooge doesn't have any memory, so Bradford is in the clear. He then becomes business partners with Scrooge, and the episode ends there. Overall, I really, really did enjoy this episode a lot. It had a lot of really fun moments, really nice callbacks to the comics, and it had a couple callbacks to the premiere episode as well, such as this scene with marbles, because at one point in the episode there's a scene where Scrooge gives Donald and Della marbles, and they don't want to play with marbles, like Huey, Dewey, and Louie didn't want to play with marbles either. There's also a moment where Scrooge gets Donald and Della's names wrong, which was a nod to when Scrooge used to call Dewey the third one instead of by his real name, which I thought was a clever nod at the premiere. So yeah, in a way, this kind of acts as an unaired pilot, but from Donald and Della's perspective. Because if you look at the episode as a whole, it really is mirroring to the premiere episode. Just again, from Donald and Della's perspective. I think that's what I like about it the most. So anyways, yeah, overall it was a really, really great episode. I don't think I can express that enough. One thing I will say though is that I'm really, really sorry it took me till today to get this episode out. I meant to get it out yesterday, but the thing is I ended up waking up at noon my time yesterday, and I couldn't get all my thoughts together at the time. So that's why I'm here doing this review for you guys now. I hope you guys really enjoyed this review, because I like doing DuckTales reviews for you guys, because your support really means the world to me. And again, I just like doing these reviews for you because you guys are the best. I plan on doing episode 17 and 18 later today as well. I have my alarm set, so I'll be sure to get episode 17 and 18 out later today. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and I will talk to you later. Alright. And as always, DuckTales, woohoo!